Hello, my name is Dr. Maya Byfield. My business is The Phenomenal STEMist. I'm so excited to be here in Orange County because it's where I live. I live in Apopka, Florida. And I decided to make this business because I saw a need for underrepresented students to be successful in STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, math. And the best way I can do that is just provide products for parents to prepare them, whether it's a book or online STEM camps or just video podcasting. My goal is to transform this community, especially those who are underrepresented. And the way to do that is to help parents understand their children's minds and basically develop them at different stages of their lives to be prepared for a successful STEM career. Thank you so much. That's why I'm here. Testing, testing, one, two, three. Hello, everyone. Good night, good night, good night. How are you? I see a couple people watching. I know what you're here for. Brandon is on his way. There he is. There he is.
Yes, ma'am. I apologize. I had some baby stuff to take care of. Man,
Hey,
listen, y'all. Listen, America. Y'all don't have babies unless you ready. Ready, ready.
like
Like,
Freddie.
like ready, ready. Ready, 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 ready to have one. Absolutely. After all that, though, they're the best. I hope you're not squeamish to feces. Other than that, you're going to be all right, y'all. You're going to be okay. Oh, Lord have
The
mercy. How
new
you doing,
dad
Doc?
is here. The new
Yes,
dad
ma'am.
is
Yes,
here.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. How you doing, Doc?
Um, I am doing well, doing very well. And of course, I'm just grateful that you have taken the time out in your busy schedule,
Praise the
being the
Lord.
businessman that you are, the husband
Man.
that you are, the father that you are.
Wow, man. Here to serve. Here to serve.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
chance I get. Here to serve.
Good evening,
Yeah.
mommy, my number one fan. I
Yes,
want to know who else is
ma'am.
out here. Who else is here? I
Well,
see
hey.
people watching,
Let me
whether
see
it
if
be from Facebook, LinkedIn. She says payback. You probably did it to your mother. So
oh, payback? Oh, I'm not in that. That's between you and mom. I ain't gonna get in the way of two arguing Jamaican ladies. I ain't
no,
doing
he's
it.
saying she's saying that the baby stuff that you're dealing with is what you do.
Oh, you know what? It's a strong possibility, Mava. It's a strong, it's a strong possibility.
Strong
But
possibility.
to God be the glory, either which way. To God be the glory. Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, man.
I had to send out messages for Boo Boo. She had to get you out at wherever you were doing.
And I was down there in the laundry room. I was try to scrub out these, because things just be happening, right? I take old man, little man to get a bath. She's the bath lady. She's the stewardess of the bath. My wife. And on the way, he's 90 days old, mama. 90
Brand new.
days old, brand new. You got it.
Brand new.
And she said, I need you to change the diaper. I'm like, cool. This seems like an easy job. And then my man really started. He's like, oh, you thought this was easy? Let me help you out with that. And
Teach
he
you the
just,
trade.
yeah, yeah. He took me to the wood shack. He showed me some things. But other than that, we got through it, and I had to do some quick hand scrubbing, and here I
Got you.
am. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Here you
yeah.
are. Well, we're not here to talk about laundry for babies. We're here to talk about your second love, which is real estate, or your third love,
Mhm.
which is real estate. Oh my bad, your
Doc, you trying to tell
fourth
on me?
love. I'm giving it priority. I'm like God, wife, children, and then your career, your real estate career.
Thank you for that. Thank you. That's the pecking order. You trying to get me on the couch, my? Come on, help a brother out, man.
Uh, before we go, just to welcome you all watching from LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel,
Mhm.
Dr. Maya Byfield. Please don't do that. We're getting some homework done, and of course, my book, The Phenomenal STEM, is how to prepare a successful STEM student from the womb to the university, written by me.
Mm,
All right.
mm,
So
mm.
homework is commercials are done. We're going to get into the real deal holy feeling. I've been talking a lot about scams lately, and
Mhm.
this just recent Usain Bolt was scammed out of 1 billion Jamaican dollars, or aka
Mm.
12 million
20,
American dollars.
20.7.
12 point, oh, gotta count that point seven.
Please
That
count the
point
point.
seven, it
That's
counts. That's
that's
700.
700. That's 700,000 racks right there. That is.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah, gotta count that point seven. That's a good point. And it's a terrible thing that was done to him. And we
Mm,
were talking about, coming on. This is our first week back. Uh, and this year we were talking about real estate in the past. I'm like, what?
mhm,
It wouldn't be good to discuss real estate scams, because
mm,
honestly, I was like this. I wanted to talk to you about the fact that a lot of people get involved in many types of investments. But it's something that you said a while ago that really stuck with me. It's not real if it's not real estate. It ain't real if it's
mm,
real estate. And I'm
mm.
like,
Run tell that.
real if it ain't real estate. Put your money in the bricks. I,
Mhm,
I'm getting more and more in that belief system, because all these numbers you don't have tabs over, they up and down, is speculative,
mhm,
but rental
mhm.
properties are, really, really great. So, however, you can get scammed.
Yes, you
You
can.
can get scammed.
Yes, you can. And the truth about it is, the truth about it is, when it comes to real estate, while it's not as widespread as, say, wire fraud, or you get an email from the Prince of Saudi Arabia asking for your help. It's not as widespread as that. But people have been caught sleeping,
Yeah.
and they got hurt. Unfortunately, we have scamsters in all areas of business.
Yeah. Yeah. Trust no one but Jesus, or
Mercy.
whoever your God is, Allah, whoever your God is. But seriously, we're gonna get into this top five from bankrate.com, and I just want to know your perspective on it. So the first, here are the first five, and then we can break it down a little bit on your
Mhm,
based on time. But number one, escrow wire fraud. Escrow
mhm,
wire fraud. So it's not direct wire fraud that you see, but it's somebody making a fake website,
mhm,
um of a lending and title company. You send your money to them and it's gone. Your money is gone. You thought it was real, it's fake.
mm-mm,
um Please don't send your money to a third party. Like, don't
mm-mm,
just randomly send people. No matter how professional it looks, be careful of that. Number two, loan flipping and predatory lenders, where they
mm,
persuade a homeowner to refinance their mortgage repeatedly, over and over and over again.
mhm, mhm,
Um, oh my goodness, that the novice. Listen, I'm very passionate. I was in the Sabbath school. For those of you who are Seventh Day Adventists, I read a a guide. It's called the Sabbath School Guide, like Sunday school. It's basically a Bible study through the week, and we're talking about debt this week, and we're talking about some of the reasons why people are on hard times is because of three main reasons. Something terrible happened that's out of their control. They spend too much, they live beyond their means, or of their just literal ignorance.
Mm.
Ignorance of they don't have the literacy of it. They don't have the financial literacy. So like my passion is to just destroy that. Destroy
Mm.
illiteracy, you know?
Mhm.
I
Mm.
think they get that. What do you think about that? Like, well, actually, let's go through it and then we'll take our time with it. So,
Okay.
predatory lending,
Right.
fake foreclosure relief,
Right.
right? So they
Right.
start to
That one's
take.
a little more low key. That one's a little more low key.
Why you say that?
Because, well, the truth is that for number one, most people don't know, by and large, how foreclosures actually work.
Yeah, back to
Right. So,
literacy. Yeah.
again, back to literacy. They get a professional, and this is what I've been exposed to, what I've heard, the stories. They'll get a professional that says that they can help them with their loan modification, and then they ask for money up front. Now, that right there should be your first red
Red flag.
flag,
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
supposed to ask for money up front to do a loan modification. They had already passed a law that bans you from doing that. I believe it was right around the time of the thing around 2011, 2012. From the whole result of 2008, that
8.
was going on a lot. So they passed some laws to help the consumers not fall victim. Another thing is, for that side of it, is for when it comes to short sale negotiations. Again, if they ask for a fee up front, that is a huge red flag. You need to leave that person alone.
Wow, wow, wow. Fake listings of and rental scams. So scammers
Yeah,
frequently post property rental ads on
yeah.
Craigslist,
hmm
social media to alert people.
First of
And
all, your first red flag is getting it off of Craigslist.
Craigslist
You know what I'm saying? What are you doing on Craigslist
with real estate. Like go to
with real
B4
estate?
closes. Go to B4 closes. Brandon
Listen,
Ford.
come
Talk about
come with it, and you can put the number out there. But here's the truth about it, guys. Here it is. The issue is that while people mean well, they're often trying to find these deals off the off beaten paths,
yeah.
right? And I'm not mad at you. I mean, if it's out there, if you can verify it, then okay, if it works. But the when you go off the beaten path, sometimes you find a little bit more than just a good deal.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this sort of thing has happened actually more so in South Florida than I think anywhere else in Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. People
Because
have
it's
showed
so
up.
expensive down there.
It's so expensive out there, and people can't resist. If you see a one bedroom, one bathroom in downtown Miami for $1,600, it doesn't exist, but you almost can't help but to call. It's like, but man, I could really use that rent though. Let me just call real quick, and you find out, and you show up, you pay someone cold hard cash. Um, the keys that you get are not the actual keys,
Oh
and
my
that
gosh.
has happened. That to me is the saddest,
Ugh.
because people have been really affected. I'll say this, and then we can go on to the next one, I
Mhm.
guess. But I remember reading a story many years ago about somebody from a whole nother state that relied on someone. It said that he was a property manager,
Oh,
come on by, see the property. And these homes, some of the times they're listed. So they can ask a realtor to get them entry for that hour. So they can play this whole thing up in such a way.
wow.
She gave them a check. This lady gave him money she could not replenish easily. First, last, and security at $2,000. I mean, that's 6 grand. That's a good amount of cake. And the guy ran away, and now she was basically stranded. She couldn't go back to the state she came from. She doesn't have a place to live here in South Florida or there in South Florida. So she basically had to scrounge up some change she had and stay in a hotel room until
Oh,
ultimately
you
she
built
had
that.
to stay. She actually had to go in a shelter for some time before she was able to get herself back. So,
Wow, that's a scary thought out there. Like I'm really grateful that I bought my home when I did, because these
mm,
rental properties right now, these rental scams or just rent in general is just out of control. But that's why it's like important for people with good hearts, who
mm,
have standards. It's time for y'all to rent and be lenders to the borrowers. That's what,
mm.
it's time for y'all. It's time for us, as kind-hearted people to who don't do those things. All right, last one, and then we'll start from the top. Bait and switch movers. Bait and switch movers, like you have a deal. Sorry.
Mm.
What was the bait and switch one? Like they say it's one and then they give you another thing? Is that what it is?
Right, right. They give you, and I've seen this
Oh,
more
like
so
say
with
it's a 4,000
contractors.
and they switch to 10,000?
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, this is a lot of stuff to move. We didn't account for the, I don't know, the heavy sofa. I know you disclosed it, but you didn't mention that it was a sectional. For every extra square feet, I'm going to put in another $700 or $800. I don't hear this happening more so on movers, but I hear this happening all the time with contractors, all the time.
Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let's get some detail. So my that was not bait and switch was number 5. You skipped number 4. Number 3 was foreclosure
Hmm.
relief. And number 4 was fake listings and rental scams. But we'll get to that. The first is escrow wire fraud. Thank you, Assistant Byfield, for escrow wire fraud. So what? Well, how do people even get that? Like I wouldn't even know. Is it certain people get the link? What's going on? How does that even happen? Escrow wire fraud. It's just people randomly get emails and people click the link. Where is it coming from?
So sometimes it's random, but in many cases, you have to do your homework a little bit as a scammer. When a property goes under contract or it's pending, then somebody may send out a link of some kind as to this is where you need to send your escrow. And if they're sending it to the realtor, sometimes realtors aren't really reading everything, or they don't know, they haven't gotten contacted by the title company of the buyer or the seller yet. So they'll just pass it along without even thinking about it.
Wow,
It hits the buyer. They're like, okay, it came from my realtor, so this is good.
this is
They put the
real.
money
Okay.
out there, and then now this one I'll say is a lot less widespread in my opinion, because I think a lot of title companies have been doing things to help combat.
To thwart
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Got you.
yeah. A lot of title companies won't even do wire anymore, except from the bank. There was one I showed up with. They had a check ready for my boy, for me, for commissions and for everything else, just because they don't want to put anyone in jeopardy. I totally understand.
Okay. And so, listen, work with what's your number again? I don't know.
I'm gonna put it up there. You could actually, on this line, I take any and all questions regarding real estate. Any and all
Okay.
questions. You can just ask and I'll respond as quickly as I can. That number is 407 634 6761 is my dedicated text line. So once
All
again,
right.
that's 407 634 6761. Right?
Sounds gravy. Where is it? I put it up there. Don't see it right now. There it is. All
Hey,
right.
oh, look at that. That thing is, oh man, that's
Listen,
official.
it's kind of official. Kind
Yes,
of, kind
ma'am.
of. All right. So okay, this is before closes information. Number 1, escrow wire fraud. It's not as common, and it's because companies work with realtors and banks in a way to avoid even that process. Okay, but
Right.
still, if somebody is doing that, be careful, be careful, be
Hmm.
careful, and work with the trusted realtors who might be know who might be able to catch that quicker than somebody who's new. Number two, loan flipping and predatory lenders. Number two, loan flipping
Mm.
and predatory lenders.
Now, unfortunately, this is the one that has actually hit our community the hardest. And I'm not even talking about on the predatory lending flipping side. I'm actually talking at the beginning when you're getting the loan.
Yeah,
We found in some cases that for our community, for people of our persuasion, we've gotten higher interest rates and more, I'd say, I don't want to say draconian, but maybe loan terms that you wouldn't get in other
right.
situations, you actually get. So
Yeah.
for me, the biggest endemic is just the whole situation that happens before you actually get the loan.
Yeah. And I think about my mother, she came with a chunk of cash, and
Mm,
even, she got me- I mean, she has a great house, she has no mortgage now. She was,
mm,
able to thwart that. But if she was a white woman, she would have gotten a
mm,
much better interest rate than she did. Much better interest rate than she did. She had sold her house in New York with she had a chunk of change to put down, and they still get
mm,
it annoys me because they don't because of redlining and looking at you as a black person, it don't matter. That's a
mm,
classic example, and she's highly educated, right? Had a chunk of change.
mm,
You understand? But that's
mm.
what they do, and it wasn't that bad. But I'm saying she should have gotten better. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's I've seen people with no education and no money get better interest rates than people that look like us. It's racism, it's predatory, and it's common in our community, unfortunately. But how do we combat that? Because she had everything. How do you combat people like Countrywide in back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Where they
Mhm,
target communities regardless of their credit score, money, education, they target us just because of what we look like.
mhm.
What can we do?
Well, the honest truth is that fortunately, some measures have already been taken
Right.
to kind of combat that a little bit. It
Yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't more than 3 months ago. I heard of Bank of America coming up with some kind of loan where the person or anyone buying in certain metropolitan areas would get very favorable loan conditions. You know, very low interest rate, low down payment, things of that nature. And they were only offering it in select cities. I like to call that hand caught in the cookie jar terms because
Mhm.
basically they were a large part of things going on as far as predatory lending. They got a large share of the bag. So
Yeah.
it was their way of just making good
Okay.
on things that went down. And unfortunately, that is a thing with regards to lenders. They don't actually repeal their stuff until they get caught doing it.
Yeah.
Um,
So we need
but
more whistleblowers.
we need more whistleblowers. Um, I'd say the other way to combat that is to get more than one quote. Don't just rely on your one bank to get a quote about your mortgage. I would actually go to a mortgage broker. Go to a mortgage broker because going to a mortgage broker is for mortgages is like going to a realtor for houses. He can give you a couple of options and not
Got
just one. And you can compare, mix and match, see what works for you. Some of the things you learn from a mortgage broker you'd never get from your own bank. So they're great on information as well.
got you, got you. I look like it myself. Like I don't know what I did. I just was happy to have this house. So
Mm-hmm.
I just came here. I had my cousin who was a realtor, so I had somebody safe with me, and they just gave us the paper. It was a community DR Horton or basically a what do you call that? A
New
community
construction.
new construction. Yeah, I got the model
Okay.
house, the new construction.
Okay, Doc, I see you, girl. All right.
No, I'm
You
so
couldn't
I didn't.
sign that thing fast enough, huh?
Yeah,
Give it
I
to
was
me.
blessed. I was yes. So that's how it was. Like I felt it was a good community. I just had that faith, but I don't know if I could have gotten a better deal or whatever. I don't know.
Did you refi recently, like in the last
No, I
10
don't.
years?
Mm-mm.
No?
I don't. No, I don't need to refi. I was a first time home buyer, so I had that
Okay, okay, okay.
3.5%. So I had
Oh,
a
yeah,
three
that's
point five
great.
percent interest rate because I was a first
That's
time home buyer.
lovely. That's
Yeah.
lovely. Yes, girl. Making me drool up in here. 3.5%. Man, we messing with 6% nowadays, 6.5,
Yeah.
7%.
It's
I'm
locked
like,
and it's locked in. It's fixed, guys.
yes.
It's not no
Mm,
adjustable. 3.5% fixed. And I
mm-mm.
paid so much money extra that I got rid of my PMI. I didn't have to refinance it. I just got rid of it. The
Oh,
MIP, the mortgage
yeah,
insurance.
mortgage insurance. Yeah, you get it. You can knock it off after 10 years, something like that.
No, you can knock it off either if as long as you paid off
Oh, you
20%.
paid it off? Oh, okay, okay.
I
Yeah,
paid
that's
off
that's
paid
the other way.
20%. Yeah.
Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, I mean, all that you did was, I mean, you couldn't have gotten a better rate. 3.25 is on the floor right now. You got
Yeah.
mortgage brokers giving me rates. It sounds like cuss words to me. I'm like, you talk to your mother that way? What in the 6 and 7? Now, I
Yeah, it's
will say
crazy.
this, real. This is a plug that I'll give in there for FHA. They're one of the only loan products out right now where you could still get 5%.
Yeah.
So for those of you that can qualify, if you're looking for something that's lower than 6, go FHA.
Okay. Okay. That's good to know. That's good to know. So, what about loan flipping though? Like, so you're saying it's usually predatory lending that's
Mhm.
common. Loan flipping, what's that? What's loan flipping?
So loan flipping is when they say, for instance, you got hooked up with a. Let me just put a 2008 spin on it. Um, let's say, for instance, someone locked you into like a 5-year balloon loan, right? And at that time, they were pushing, it's okay. In 5 years, just refi, and you'll
Yeah.
never have to worry about the balloon. That was the whole shtick. That's what they did. Now, let's say, for instance, you were one of the lucky ones that actually got a chance to refi, which is great. Now, you refied, but then they get you again with another high interest rate loan. So
Yeah.
they'll say, okay, we got you out of this one. Let's get you into this one so that you can get out of not having to pay the balloon. So people will sign it so that they can get out of the bad loan, but then they get themselves into n- another not so good loan.
Yeah.
Now, that's a 30-year situation until you refi again. But that's basically how it works. I mean, they just keep putting you into less favorable loans, and that's kind of how it works out.
Wow, they just keep putting so you just flip from one loan to a worse loan, or maybe not necessarily a worse loan, but still bad loan to a still
Hmm.
bad loan, maybe even worse loan.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man.
yeah. A lot of these loan officers are.
How do you combat that? Don't even get into that bad loan, right? Don't take out a balloon loan, right? Like, is that
Oh,
ever a chance?
oh, mercy. Now, and balloon loans are really for investors. Okay, so if you're going in there, you're flipping a home. I can't speak to that. Like that's a whole nother ministry altogether. Like you're doing something like that. But if you're looking to live in a home, you need to be looking at anything conventional or first time home buyer if you can qualify or FHA. That's my recommendation. Don't
But
do
what about
anything
me?
crazy.
What about me who's a rental property seeker in the future? Somebody who wants to buy a rental property. What kind of
Okay.
loan should I get? Should I get a conventional? Should I
You can
get
get I would go for conventional.
Mhm.
That's still a really good loan to get into for your loan for your rentals. I mean, for a rental, your main concern is to make sure that all of the stuff you got to pay housing wise is going to be way lower
lower than
than the actual rent. And I'm
Mhm.
talking 500. There's a $500 gap minimum. Now,
Got
everyone has different tastes. Maybe they might go to 3 or 4. But honestly, if you're not making $500 a month for the mess you got to put up with renting to
right.
folks, you might as well just not you just put your money somewhere else.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Got you. All right, next one. Foreclosure relief. Foreclosure relief.
Doc, how much do you know about foreclosures?
All I know is it was a whole bunch of them in 2008, and it's basically when people stop paying on their mortgage and the bank forecloses on them. And then, you know, people were like, "We can help you to stay in your house if you
Mhm.
do this."
Mhm. Mhm.
That's what I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. That's pretty much
You put
the
on
the
the back
crux of it.
end. You could extend your loan and put it on the back end, but that's gonna put a whole bunch of interest on the it's like it's just so not good. But anyway, go ahead.
That is normally what you get out of banks. They're
Right.
the ones that are offering low modifications where number one, they either put it on the back end, and what I've seen, in some cases, they create a whole nother second mortgage, and the homeowner doesn't even know about it.
What?
So all the whatever they cut out of your mortgage payment. Say you were doing 1,500, now just give me 1,000. The 500 that they're taking that they discounted, it's not like it disappears.
Right.
They take the money and they put it into this second mortgage
And when
until
do you find out about that second mortgage?
some people don't even find out till they're ready to refi or sell the home. It shows up on title and it has the name of the bank on there. By that time, I mean you have to work it out with your bank, but these folks they've already got you, and to repeal it is going to take time. It's going to take lawyer dollars, all that good stuff.
But are you
And
not paying? Are you? It's just sitting there, not being paid, and interest is just accruing on it.
interest is accruing on it. It's just sitting there not being paid. So
What?
somehow in the paperwork that you signed, and that's the other thing, man. Guys, read the stuff. If you don't
Read.
understand it, read that stuff. So stop your closer person and ask them, I don't understand this. Can we call my mortgage broker? Call your mortgage broker and find out what the stuff means. You could do that at a closing. I mean, you the one spending the money, so you're in charge. So if you don't want to move forward, they have everything stops until you understand what's going on.
And I'll be honest. When I bought my first home, this home that I'm sitting in, I didn't do. I just signed papers in my closing. Just sign, sign, sign.
Well,
I
you
just felt it
had.
was a good deal. I felt it was a good deal.
Hmm. I mean, you
Like,
told me what the purchase price. Yeah, you a good
e-
deal.
prices.
Good deal, girl. You.
I just sign,
Good.
and
That's a
it worked
deal.
out. It has worked out so far,
Yeah.
but to be honest, I'm not. Who might have judged anybody? I didn't read. I didn't. Oh
Hmm. Hmm.
man.
No,
But
you're
here's
one of
the
the blessed
thing.
ones.
But here's the thing. I'm one of the blessed ones. But also, I had a good deal. I had a really low interest rate. I had really high credit. I was able to get into a pretty good community. It
Hmm.
sometimes these fraudulent behaviors least are least likely to happen in these kind of situations. Then it seems. Am I right or wrong about that?
No, no, you're right. But the other thing about it is that you had help. You had people
Yeah,
around you.
like
Yeah,
my uncle. That's right.
that's key. Sometimes when we're trying to get a good deal, we try to sneak off and do the things all by ourselves, right? And then we wind up getting injured at the end of the day. So bring a realtor friend in there. Get as much sunshine on that deal as possible,
You see that
right?
number? You see that number?
Text me, ask me anything you'd like. I'm happy to respond, but please get some sunshine. What did the pastor say once? Sunshine is the best disinfectant. So
Wow.
get
Open
all the
mics.
sunshine. Hmm.
Yeah, that's so true. I had my uncle cousin, my father's cousin, and that was key. I think
Hmm.
that was key. I think it would have been a totally different situation if I rolled up in this office, because this was the actual selling office, where my office now that I'm
Oh,
now educating people on finances was the seller's office, and it might have been a different situation had I gone by myself. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so um, is that the only way the bank's putting on a whole new mortgage? Or was the banks doing that, or somebody else doing that? A
no,
whole
it's the
new
banks. The banks are doing that. And that's why it's so hard to get rid of because, the banks are long on money. So
Yeah.
they can afford to drag this thing along and drag this thing along. that's another dimension of, I think, foreclosure relief, fraud, or scam that by and large isn't really talked about. There was a time in my life where all I did was foreclosures from 2008 to, I think, actually just within 2 years ago. And I have a short sale right now, so I still do foreclosures when they pop up. But to this day, banks have been offering these low modification options to homeowners that by and large are not in their favor. The process, number one, takes really long. So if you're in foreclosure, there's a chance I've known people to lose their homes waiting on a loan modification approval. That's a whole nother
Mm.
story. I'm not even going to talk about that. So, but when you actually get it, um, the whole thing is people are okay with putting it on the back end, but they don't realize that while that's accruing over time, that compound interest, man, that thing never sleeps. And when
Never
you get a
sleep.
chance to, if you want to sell your property in the near future, that it's like the most potent equity killer, I
Yep.
think,
Get
created
nothing
by.
for it.
Mhm.
When he says potent and equity killer, that means you've been in that house for 20, 25 years paying
Mm,
$2,000 a month. You try to sell that house, you think, oh, it's worth a half a million. I bought it at 200,000. It's worth a half a million. Well, when you
mm,
sell it, that you got to pay off the mortgage and the interest that you didn't pay,
mm,
and that's gonna cost $450,000. You get maybe $25,000 back in cash when you
mm,
thought you were gonna get $300,000.
mm,
You
mm,
understand? You thought you were gonna get $300,000. You only get $30,000.
mm. I'm gonna go visit the headquarters tonight. I'm going. I'm going wherever they bank at, where Oklahoma, wherever. That's the headquarters. I'm going there with a picket, and we gonna
Sign.
see what's going on. That's it. That's it. No,
So
but
is
I
there
mean
any
that's great.
like fraud scammers that outside of the banks? I'm seeing like upfront fees. I think that's what it is. They charge you upfront fees. That's a red flag. Okay.
Upfront fees. There are some legal scams that I'll mention here. When it comes to foreclosures, again, people are in a very vulnerable position. They're basically drafted reaching for straws trying to find out how they can either a stop the foreclosure or b keep their home. So anything that seems like an angel, they're going to
Ah,
grab at. So one that's like a legal scam, I guess you could say, there are attorneys out there that you can pay to more or less, quote unquote, keep you out of foreclosure. And when I say that, I mean that there are some that actually you have them paying them like a monthly fee. And instead of paying your mortgage, you wind up paying the attorney every month to either do whatever you need to do to prolong the foreclosure, or kind of get you through from one cancellation to the next to the next. Now in some cases, some people have a plan together and they're planning out something, and maybe that might work out, but at the end of the day, the honest truth is you're paying an entity on a big maybe to cancel the situation, to cancel your sale date, or to keep you coming along with your mortgage. You're kicking the can down the road. And if they at some point should say, okay, we can't do this for you anymore, that's it. This is your last month in. Just make
you
your peace
wasted
with it.
all. Yeah, you
All
wasted
the money that you spent, you're not getting any of that back.
all. Wasted all those legal fees. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's sad. That's sad. That's why number one, guys, you gotta really get something that you can afford so that foreclosure does not happen to you. A lot of people who foreclose, they just bought too much house based on their income without the proper interest rate.
Too much house,
Um,
man. Not only that, I'll say this: as soon as you can, pay off your mortgage.
yes,
Pay
sir.
that thing off. Girl,
Yes,
they
sir.
call it mortgage. What is it? Broken down? Mortgage, death grip.
Mortuary.
The gage is grip and the mort is death. Death
Yes.
grip. You are in
Death
a death
grip.
grip. Get out the death grip as soon as possible. Pay it off in 5 years, 10 years, whenever you can, because these banks, they make errors all the time. I've known some people to be in foreclosure that they've never missed a payment. It was a
What?
complete, it happens, Maya. I've seen some things, girl. I've seen banks try to evict people out their own house. I've seen I've seen bank officials, not officials, but like I guess they hire whoever they need to hire to change the locks on the doors before the home is foreclosed on. I've seen all kinds of stuff,
Wow.
man. Please, guys, if you don't get anything out this talk, pay off your mortgages as quickly as possible. And I'm talking your homestead, maybe your rental property, you have a different strategy on. I can't speak to that. But your brick and mortar, like your homestead, where you lay your head with your kids and all of that, pay that off as quickly as possible.
I'm talking about 50 and debt free. That's my goal. Paying off my mortgage in
Oh,
5 years. That's the
that's
goal.
you can do it. You can
50
do
and
it.
debt free. And you just made me feel like more empowered to do it for
Yeah.
sure. All right. Number five. Number five. Fake listings and rental scams. Fake
Hmm.
listings and rental scams. What is going on here? Like we talked a little bit about it. Sign number one, don't go to Craigslist.
Stay off Craigslist, y'all. Please
Stay
stay
off
off Craigslist.
Craigslist.
If it's too good to be true, it probably is.
But why do people go for the too good to be true? Because ultimately, like that's what you were saying. People go to downtown Miami saying there's going to be a 1,600. You know, it's costing $4 or $5,000 for the same thing. Why do you think that you somehow have a special favor? Why do people fall for the too good to be true?
I mean, it's kind of human nature. You're trying to make ends meet with your family. You're just looking for a break, and then something comes up, and in the back of your mind, you know this can't be the actual thing, but it's just too good to pass up. I mean, you rationalize in your mind. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything to call. I'll ask those questions, and the people on the other line, they know what they're doing.
They're savvy.
They
Like
know what they're
just
doing.
know that do people think they're just too wise to get con?
They
Maybe that's what
again,
it
it,
is.
it is just they're just too good to be true, and they want to believe. They At the end of the day, they want to believe that this is true. That's the other thing about it. They're
Yeah.
willing, like they see some red flags, but they're just trying to get to the finishing line, hoping that this is a real thing, and unfortunately, that isn't the case.
Sounds like a bad relationship.
Oh mercy! That's not that talk, girl. This is a whole other talk.
You wanna
Catch Maya
believe.
on Thursdays, relationship talk, right?
You wanna believe. You wanna believe. Hey, who's watching? I see Taurus. How you doing?
Yes,
Listen.
ma'am.
Okay. So if it's too good to be true, believe it, and don't put a cash like I all I can and I guess I'm at this place all through my life. I've just been protected.
Hmm.
Like my apartment was a part of a conglomerate in the school system. Like I lived
Okay.
on the campus. I had a great deal. I had subsidized rentals in New York City. I mean, think about I had a studio apartment, 19th floor, Bronx, New York City, $600. Like,
BX?
yeah. Like that's crazy, right? That's
That's
cheap.
ridiculous.
So, I've always gone into situations kind of protected. I left there, moved into my aunt's basement. From my aunt's basement, I moved into my mother's house, and from my mother's house, I bought a house.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I never. Oh shoot! I'm running out of energy, but we're almost done. We're almost done. So I thought I had my plug in. It's not there. So
Okay.
last one. Bait and switch. Bait and switch. It's not just movers. Is other things. Like what's going on with the bait and switch?
So, what bait and switch is, they give you one number when they see you, they do the work, and then halfway through at the end of the job, they give you a whole different number that you did not agree on originally. And again, this normally happens with contractors. And I know a whole mess you would agree with me. They give you one estimate in the beginning, and then when they get the working halfway through, it ain't the gospel. They say,
Mhm.
"Oh, we had to do this, we had to do that, 5 grand
Halfway
here."
through.
Mhm.
Mm.
They switch it up on you. Now, I would just want to say this back up real quick on fake listings. This is something. This is like a. I'm going to give you guys a process to find out when something is legit when it comes to rental properties and rental listings. If you're, and this is for across the board. I don't care if it's on Zillow. I don't care if it's on Realtor.com. These are the things. These are like a proper process to rent a property. If it's an association, if the property is in an association, number one, everything has to go through the association first.
Right.
Don't try to get with somebody that'll think that, we're going to buck the system. We're going to get you in there without the association. No, no. They have the power. The association has the power to get you out of that unit if they need to. They have those in their declarations, and every owner signs it when they bought the condo. So don't
Mhm.
try to buck the system. Anyone that's trying to get you around the association, don't do it.
Don't
As a
trust
matter,
them.
do not trust them. In fact, the association is your saving grace in this instance. I can't believe I'm saying that, but the
Right.
association is your saving grace. Go through them. The next thing is if it's a private owner, you can look them up on a property appraiser website. There is a property appraiser website for every single county. Look it up, find out who the owner of the property is, so that you can make sure that you're dealing with the right person.
Right.
Okay, and you're not supposed to give anyone any deposit until you do a walkthrough. When you do the walkthrough and you have the keys in your hand and a lease is signed, then you can give them the deposit. No deposits are
Keys
in
that
my
work. Keys that work in the
keys that
door.
work. Yes, yes, yes. Please try to keys out. But at the end of the day, no one's supposed to be asking you for no $1,000 deposit before you get to the actual time where you're moving into the property.
Gotcha.
Now, application fees, something different. That's a whole nother
Right.
situation.
Oh boy.
But you know, again, that's a whole nother thing. I could give you a whole nother show on application fees, man. Oh, mercy.
Oh man. Well, we could do a show on fees in general.
Oh,
That could be our next one. Next month
okay.
we could do a
Okay.
show
So
on
long as we
fees.
don't touch commission, we can talk about all of the fees that commission. Anything else?
Bait and switch. So, like you said, contractors, man, they say, "Oh, we gotta do this. It's gonna cost more money. It's gonna cost more money." They just keep piling on the money,
hmm
piling on the
hmm
money. Like, how do you protect yourself from that? Because you already started the process.
So unfortunately, I've even been burned by a contractor in this situation. I
I feel
I
like every
lost.
contractor does that. It feels like I don't know.
Well, there are some good ones out there, which is good.
Okay.
How I get around that is referrals. I like dealing with referrals.
Yeah.
I like Angie's List. I think Angie's List, they actually hold the contractors on there accountable. And
Right.
again,
And it said Better Business Bureau as well. Like contact the
Better Business
Better Business
Bureau.
Bureau. Usually people will complain,
Hmm
on there.
Go
Yeah.
with the sunshine principle. Get as much sunshine on the situation as
Love it.
possible. Talk to somebody about your estimate. Hey, how does this look? Have you heard of this company? Google them. Look them up online. Make sure you're dealing with legit folks, and then go from there. And don't be the type to just do everything hands off. You might
Yeah.
want to show up every other day, or maybe every day if you're that kind of person, and see the kind of work that's being done in your property. Make sure these people are showing up
To work.
to work, right?
Yeah.
And don't
Yeah.
give them a whole heap of money to start off. There's some contractors that try to hit you for half. I want half up front and then half when we're done. Nope. I will
We
give you a small deposit of certain
Yeah.
amount of money, and that will get you going. And if, as a matter of fact, a lot of these contracts will start without any down payment in in,
Okay.
in a lot of cases. So
Yeah. So I love find the trustworthy. And the way
mhm,
you find trustworthy is by recommendation by multiple people. Angie's List, Better
mhm,
Business Bureau, get that sunshine. Get
mhm,
that sunshine and do your due diligence. Do
mhm.
your like the only way you're not going to get scammed in real estate is if you do your due diligence. That's
Yes,
due
ma'am.
diligence and sunshine. That's what I'm hearing. So thank you once again, Mr. Ford. You have been great. I'm glad you guys have watched. Please do me a favor and share this with anybody that
Hmm.
is thinking about buying homes, right? Or just share it in general on your page. Really
Yes,
appreciate it.
ma'am.
Once again, I'll say this again. Last time. Please subscribe. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. All of you who are watching. You guys have a good
Mhm.
night. Thanks again, Brandon.
Later, y'all.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.